What's going on, everybody?
Hey,
Do we have anybody in here yet? Where's the chat? How do I see the chat in here?
mm, it's
Live
it's over
chat.
on the right hand side.
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. Um. Oh, we do have 6 viewers so far, so we do have a few people
Ooh,
in here.
wow, that's all right. We're not on our own.
No, I know. Um. So, everybody, what's going on? How's everybody feeling? Start getting your comments in too, because we are going to answer, try and answer everybody's comments if we can get to them by the end of the stream. And more people are filing in now, so that's good. I know it was kind of an abrupt, you know, intro here, so so I
No, that's
know
good.
I know we're probably gonna have more people filing in as we go. But for those of you who don't know, we have got CryptoPumpz, the world famous CryptoPumpz, on
Yeah.
stream today. So make sure you guys get excited and make sure in the comments you tell CryptoPumpz what's up. Um, but today, I guess we're just gonna, we're just gonna kind of talk about KASPA and KRC20 and new ecosystem projects. And then maybe get into a couple other things if we have time. But before we get started, I know you're streaming this on your channel as well, so I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, I would imagine that we have a lot of overlap in subscribers. But for those of maybe for those that don't know who you are, um, why don't you give like a super quick background, maybe how you got into crypto and what your channel's all about.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that question. Um, yeah, but I was like you. I was part of crypto galaxies when I got into crypto first. And yeah, he knew his stuff, and I learned a lot. But then it was time to leave, so I got out of there. And I had all the wrong stuff when I started. I had Algorand, Polygon, all the ones that I didn't have a clue, to be honest. And I bought at the height of the last bull run. So it was 2021, I think, when everything was up the top. So obviously I lost a lot of money there. And then I actually was flicking through YouTube and I found Crypto John, and he sounded like a good, honest guy at the time. And yeah, started listening to him. He's the first person that actually opened me up to Caspa. Um, so I listened. I got from him first. And then I went into Crypto Galaxy to learn about more because I know that he liked Caspa as well. So following Crypto John for a while, then we know what happened to him. He kind of got rid of Caspa, and that could have been it. But then he decided to badmouth it as well. So I clicked the unfollow button there.
Mm.
But everybody's entitled to sell it, but he just didn't have to go on and badmouth it the whole time. But yeah, since that I had Bitcoin, I have a lot of Caspa, and I sold my Bitcoin and moved it into Caspa as well. I moved half the Bitcoin at a good time, and then I moved the other half of the Bitcoin when Caspa was at 20 cents. So probably not the best time to do it, but I still have an average buy of 5 cents, so I'm quite happy with that. So a lot of people are giving out about the price action and how much they're down, but I'm down a lot also. But I still believe in the project. I can't find anything better out there than Caspa, and the more I learn about Caspa, the more you learn about Bitcoin. That's the good thing about the community. It's very educational. Whereas when I was in other communities, I didn't really learn that much. But in Caspa, every day is a learning day. So
Mm-hmm.
that's me. And now I'm just started the channel as well because I've no one really to talk to about crypto. So I started the channel. I thought there was a lot of dishonest people out there. And really, if myself and yourself are only talking about Caspa all the time, it's, we're not, people think you're getting paid to talk about Caspa, but you're not. There's no money behind Caspa at all. We talk about it because I like it and I believe in it. And I get some of my family members into it. So the only reason I talk about it is because I believe about it or I believe in it. So that's how I got into Caspa, and I like talking about it. It's very interesting,
Yeah,
and
I
I think
think
the future is going to be bright.
yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand that the people who are talking like you mentioned about Caspa, um, you can technically call them an influencer at this point, but like they don't get paid. And so that anybody who's got a channel based around that is, you know, doing it out
Well,
of, just the, love and uh, respect, I guess you could say, for the project, right? They believe in it. Where there's a lot of other people out there, shilling other coins that'll give you $20,000 plus a 1% of the supply to talk about it, as we've seen
yeah,
some screenshots lately. So I guess, yeah, for me as well, the reason, I got into this whole YouTube thing is same as you. I want, nobody in our normal life wants to talk about crypto at all, at least for me. And it was more of like uh, I guess, a venting scenario where I could just, get on the camera and talk and, you know, kind of get everything that I wanted to say off my chest and, hopefully find some people out there that are like-minded. And sure enough, both of us pretty much have. So,
yeah,
um, so that's
definitely.
good.
Yeah.
As far as I want to talk about KRC20 tokens because there's, I'm sure you see too a lot of talk out there about the price action not doing well,
Mm.
um, and kind of go over like what our favorite KRC20 projects are, what we're invested in, and then kind of uh, a vision of what you think KRC20 tokens might do in the future. Like, are they extinct after smart contracts come around? Are they going to be, they were first movers, so are they going to hang around with nostalgia, that type of stuff? What are your
Mm.
thoughts?
Well, I think the first one is the price action on KRC20 wasn't always bad because I invested $3,000 into some of the KRC20s and it hit $55,000, but I didn't cash out like a dope. But I still think there's a good chance for the KRC20s to do really well with smart contracts coming out. They're all going to have their EVM contract address, and a lot of them have signed up to the DEX on ZellaSwap as well. So before as well, they probably stop people getting into KRC20s that if you wanted to sell them, if they're not an exchange, you had to put it up on KASPA.com, and somebody had to buy it over the counter stuff, and it's real pain. Like so when they're on a DEX, it might encourage more people to get in because they will be able to trade out of it if they want to, and it'll be a lot easier to buy them as well. So I know that a lot of I think Zealous bought the first, the way they had a pre-sale on Zeal. And then they took that money and they bought the first 10 KRC20 tokens that were listed on CAS.FYI. And they put that into liquidity pool. So that's there waiting for when these get listed. And then I know any other projects were able to fill out a form and send over liquidity to be listed on the DEX as well. So that's that. So I don't know, do you want to talk about what ones you like? Or
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've mentioned this numerous times, but I only own two KRC20 tokens, and I bought them with a little bit of KASPA, very little bit of KASPA on the day, the hype day of minting. Um, and I probably would have a lot more, except for the fact that all the minting, a lot of it got stalled or paused or
mm,
rejected that day. You kind of had to be sitting in front of the computer and making sure that everything went through. But I did buy some Nacho and I did buy some Gold tokens, and I just noticed that Gold is down 30% today. So yeah, um, I have them both. I'm just going to hold on to them, and I'm going to see where they're at the end of the bull run.
mm,
I'm
yeah.
not necessarily buying any more right now. I'm just kind of holding my bags. The unfortunate part is that they're down a lot, as far as from where we were. They were minted at a certain price, and then they went up, like you said, and now they're
Yeah.
down quite a bit. But the whole market went down, so it's not like they're going against the grain by any means.
Mm.
And I do think that when the parabolic phase of this cycle happens and KASPA finally gets its run, then ecosystem projects, whether it be new projects built on Casplex or Egra or KRC20, they're all going to, in my opinion, do well because it's one of those things. Normally, when the main project, in other stuff, it's like Ethereum, Solana, everything underneath of it, when those are pumping, the ecosystem coins are pumping as well, and they're usually doing even more, percentages and X's because they're lower market caps. So when
Yeah.
KASPA decides to pump, we still think it's going to. By the way, guys, it the ecosystem coins should follow suit. It's like the rising tide raises all ships. So,
Mm. Well, they do
um,
at the moment. The good ones go up now whenever Cass has a bit of a boost.
yeah, that's true. I know Nacho not too long ago, not this recent pump, but there was one, a month or so ago. It did like a 5x in the matter of 3 days,
Yeah.
or roughly a 5x. It may not have been exact. And that was encouraging to see.
Mm.
And Nacho, they have a great team and they're very active
Mm.
on social media, building out, doing other things. So I think if nothing else, that project's going to do well, even though it's
Yeah.
Shy's cat and Shy's not involved anymore, which is,
Well, you said he
another
wasn't, but
caveat
he's
there.
yeah, but he's still all over Twitter
Yeah,
about
I've
or
seen him.
X about Casper. So yeah, yeah. But
I
that's the thing. Yeah, there's the war going on between him and Casplex, and but I don't know. Casplex is building on Caspa, So anybody that's building and promoting and trying to get stable coins on Caspa, I think is a good thing. But yeah, it gets a lot of hate. The first launch, KRC20. Part of the reason to get a lot of hate was because the first launch, people forget it was a beta launch. It was a test, and it was a test launch with the public. And I brought my laptop on holiday with me at the time because I wanted to mint some, but it didn't happen. And that's how I found Ashton off Nacho, because he was really helping out the community. He was giving different nodes to connect it and all this kind of stuff to help people out to mint. And then the second problem was the Casware wallet. They didn't have that dynamic fees,
mhm.
So that was that. Like that wasn't, and none of that was anything to do with Caspa. People at the time were giving about Caspa as well, but then they did do it and it went well, and there hasn't been really any problems since. And now they're launching layer 2, so I'm excited about that. Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah, what
I was
token? What KRC20 tokens do you own? If you
well,
don't
this
mind
one
saying.
I don't get paid either, but this is Wolfie. So this is what you get when you join the community. You get a T-shirt. I left a mug inside. You get a joint mug, and yeah, you get a hoodie and that kind of thing. But yeah, the only difference between Wolfie is and the rest of them, it's backed by real businesses. So Wolfie's based in England. He has a hairdressers and he has a bar at the moment, and a certain amount of the profits from that go back to the NFT holders. So the more NFT, so whoever holds NFTs in the Wolfie's community, you get paid out in Wolfie coin, which is a KRC20, and you get it paid out every Friday. And the more NFTs you hold, it's basically you have a bigger slice of the business, and you get more payout in the tokens. And then he has miners in the bar that he's going to switch on when Caspa goes up in price and it becomes more profitable, and the holders will get a share of the what the miner is mining, the CAS. And then because of the money that's coming in from the NFTs, he is opening a second Wolfie bar in South Africa. And all the money from the NFTs is going towards that. And that's what makes it possible. And when that business opens, again, it comes back to us on a Friday. We get a reward will go up. So it's basically, it's different to, I see Casper Silver, who I like a lot and I admire him. He's a very smart guy, but I think he missed this one because he thinks they're all meme coins, but there is someone that have real business value behind them, and Wolfie's is one of them. So that's Wolfie's, who's going to be at the conference. He's going to have a menu there as well, food and all that kind of thing. And so I'm in with them a year. So even before that, I got into KASPA, and I've had interviews with them like a year ago on the channel. And KASPA, I think, is just a great backstory, real world story where he rescued a cat and he spent 6 million CAS on getting his leg amputated and then saving him, which I don't know, 6 million CAS now is must be close to 1 million. So it's getting up there with the most expensive cat operation ever. But you're a cat lover, you would have spent 6 million CAS to save your cat, wouldn't you? Bacon,
Absolutely.
isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
there you
Well,
go.
the funny thing, it's not even my cat. It's
Oh
my
yeah,
adopted cat now, because
yeah,
the
yeah,
fiance moved in and brought him along with her,
mm,
and now we share
yeah,
an office, because the bedroom we used to keep him in uh, during the day, so he doesn't run out the dog doors, because he's not allowed to go outside, is now the baby's bedroom. So
yeah.
he had to move into my office here with me. So
Okay. Yeah, and that's a Caspia. Then I got Nacho on the first day it came out, so I have Nacho, and I got Zeal. I did very well on Zeal. I got in there at the start, and yeah, I have Pac-Man because I like the community and I like the guy that's behind it. And I have a Pac-Man T-shirt. People say I never get paid, but I got a Pac-Man T-shirt. So
so you are taking money to
I
promote
am a
tokens.
paid shiller. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The T-shirt, man.
Yeah, and it cost because he sent it from America, and the price, the cost. He must have been able to get 3 T-shirts for the price the cost to send it from America to here. But thanks for that. Thanks for my T-shirt. And yeah, the last one I'm in the pre-sale. That's another thing. If you were in the Wolfies, if you had a Wolfie NFT, you would have been able to avail of the IGRA Lab pre-sale. IGRA. So I have some of that. It's on sale at half price, the pre-sale, and then when it comes out to the public, they'll have to pay like the full price or whatever. So I have a little bit of that. I only had $300 sitting there, so that's all I could get. Some people are buying thousands of it because they think it's going
Yeah.
to do the same thing as Zeal. It's going to shoot up. So
Yeah,
yeah,
unfortunately, I missed Zeal.
mm,
Um, I've still thought about getting into it, but I'm one of those people who like see the price where it was when it launched, when I had a chance, and I see it
yeah,
now, and I'm like, you know.
yeah. But
Um,
what about Uniswap and Pancake Swap? Remember they did like a lot more X's than Zeal did. So I
yeah,
think it's still a good one maybe.
I think Zeal has a chance to do very well, based on,
Yeah.
like you said, other layer ones. First Dex movers in other blockchains did extremely well. So I probably still will get into that, to be honest. But I was going to mention the Wolfie, uh, holding a Wolfie NFT. I think it is right, and you
Mm,
get the pre-sale cost on the IGRA,
eh,
the new IGRA
yeah.
tokens.
Mm.
That I was gonna mention that, but you ended up talking about it anyways, which I think is
Oh,
actually
sorry.
pretty cool because they're affiliated somehow, right? Or just kind
Yeah,
of teamed
I
up.
think yeah, I just Pavel from Igra was over in Wolfie's, and I think they had a talk, and yeah, he's just all about trying to promote Wolfie's bar. So yeah, you had Pavel over, and they did some kind of deal, and they worked it out that any Wolfie holders would. So basically, Wolfie are distributing the Igra. It's not. I have it in my Casware wallet. It's not Igra. It's Igra, and when smart contracts come out, that gets swapped for the real thing. So basically, the one you're holding is only it's going to just show that you've paid and you're waiting for the
Yeah,
real thing, and they'll swap it out for the real thing when it happens. But yeah, that was it. It wasn't just Wolfie. There was another one as well. I can't remember. There was another KRC20 token that got in on doing the pre-sale as well.
yeah,
I
I
can't
think
remember
you're
the name of
right.
them.
It was like you had to be holding one or the other, or both,
Mm,
and you'd be
mm.
able to, participate in the pre-sale. Um,
And just answer one of there's a guy in the comments there called Andy, and Andy lives in England, and he invited me to an elite group. I has a few uh, people, well, I won't say high up, but well-known people in the CAS community. So it's good to be in there just to see what goes on. But he has a question there. I think I don't know if he's slagging me. Ask Cryptopumpz if he has met Bono out of the rock band U2. He's probably taking the piss, but yeah, I've met him 3 times.
oh wow,
Yeah, my dad worked in a bar he managed a bar in Dublin for 50 years, and I used to serve Bono as pint when I was 15. And then yeah, he lives out in Dalkey, and I used to repair the payphones out in Dalkey back in the day, and his wife and him used to walk by. So yeah,
Well,
about
that's
three
cool.
times, but I wasn't a big fan of U2, so I didn't really care.
Yeah, but it's still a cool story, though.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
whether you like the music or not.
Yeah, there's a lot of famous people went to that bar, like Kiefer Sutherland and Oasis were there, and Rod Stewart, and yeah.
Interesting.
Sorry, I'm off the topic there now.
That's all right. Um, Also, everybody watching, let us know what your favorite KRC20 tokens are. Um, put them in the comments section, and we'll mention them, talk about them potentially a little bit later. But I'm interested to see what everybody else's, top, 1, 2, or 3 KRC20 tokens are that they hold or that they just like. Let's we have smart contracts obviously coming out soon, right? We've been given the vague window now, which is probably better than giving an exact date at this time, so that we don't run into what we ran into last time. But it's supposed to happen this month. You know,
Yeah,
says
Caspador saying
Caspador.
this month.
Um,
Yeah, yeah,
so I would imagine that by the end of this month, they are going to launch. I don't know what the reasoning was, nor does it matter, right? I don't know if there was any bugs, if they're waiting for a timing scenario with something else, or what it is. As long as they meet this next requirement, I think everything is fine. People are going to forget about the fact that they were delayed. What are there any new projects that are potentially launching that you've heard about that you're interested in, or that you think, you know, that you think is, are pretty cool, new, inventive, that through the grapevine or anything like that that are on their way out,
yeah.
whether it be through Casplex or even Egra's launching Q4,
Mm.
anything for that matter.
Yeah. Yeah, like you, I heard the start of this month. I actually had it up in my last video. I said I took a guess it was going to be the 10th because they had that event in Korea, and that was a big one. So I
Yeah.
thought they were going to say it then, but it didn't happen. And they have a message up in the Casplex Telegram saying that it tentatively the 10th or 11th. So maybe tomorrow. But now in my head, maybe Caspador is going to get permission to give the go ahead and do it in Berlin. Maybe that'd be a good spot to release it. So I don't know. But yeah, I'm on the Cassia. Cassia is on the base layer though. That's on the text message service.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying it on my phone at the moment. It's on Google. It's on Android. It's not on iPhone yet because Android is better. But I'm testing it out and that's cool. But that's on the base layer. But I think it's Vimeo. Is it the one we were talking about, the video streaming?
Yeah, it's like
So
Vivu or something.
yeah, I'm not sure how it works at the moment. I know it's using some EVM app or dApp that's on Ethereum at the moment. So I don't know if it is actually working over Caspa at the moment. I know you can tip in Caspa, but I'm presuming as soon as the layer 2 comes on, it'll all be streaming over Caspa. And like I was saying to you earlier, I'm going to stream the Berlin show like this using Restream. And Caspa Silver said in a message that I should use Vimeo, but it's hard enough for me to figure out how to do it with something I understand rather than start fresh and learn to do it on Vimeo. So maybe next time when I have a bit of practice with it. But I'm excited about that. I want to try that because you and me, if I don't get super thanks I needed you or whatever a lot of time, but they charge you for everything. If you do get something like that, so if you do stream over that, if you do get tips or whatever, it's all yours. It's cheaper.
That's a good point. That's a good point because YouTube takes like half.
Yeah, I've only got a couple. I don't even remember seeing it, getting any from it. Yeah, but yeah, then you get taxed as well. Even
Yeah.
me over here, I had to fill out a form and get taxed. Yeah, so it's yeah. Probably the lending platforms. I'm interested in that. I've never, because this is all new to me because I spend a lot of time on KASPA and they don't have smart contracts, so it's a lot of learning experience for me as well. So, but I like the idea of the lending platforms that you don't have to get rid of your KASPA. You can, lock it in there, take a loan out, but I need to find out how that works. How does that work if the price of KASPA goes up or down? So I'm interested in that. There seems to be a couple of lending platforms coming out. And then you have KASPA.com. They got a DEX coming out. I'm looking forward to that. Zealous, they got a good DEX. And I think it's KASPA Finance. They have a DEX coming out as well. So there's a lot of stuff waiting to come out. There's probably a lot of stuff that we haven't heard about yet that they're, keeping it close to their chest until smart contracts come out and they can launch. So, but like that, I'm excited about it because seemingly the cost to launch a project on Ethereum is a lot more costly than it is compared to KASPA. It's only a couple of cents on KASPA. So hopefully people see that, they start coming over to KASPA and building. And then that's what, the way I say this as well, the way the hash rate is going down. So when people come over and they have base rollups over on Casplex and IGRA, the miners are going to get the money for all the transactions. So mining should become more profitable, and we'll see the hash rate come back up, because that's another FUD that people say the hash rate is down, but it's going to go down when it's not as profitable, and it'll go back up again when it becomes better.
Yeah,
So,
that's exactly how Bitcoin works too, right? In the bear market, the hash rate goes down, and then it comes back up when the price rises, and it seems to always adapt to what's needed in order to keep the blockchain secured. And I imagine that, as KASPA grows, that it's going to be very similar, in retrospect to Bitcoin. But, hash rate's never going to just go up or just go down. It's always going to fluctuate depending on, where we are in the cycle and what's going on. So just like Bitcoin. So I would, nothing to worry about in my opinion yet, unless we get
same as the price.
Exactly.
The Bitcoin people are always picking a nice section of the graph where it's going down, whereas don't go back to 2022 where KASPA was the most profitable proof of work coin.
Of course not, because they have to prove their point with a little snapshot of a 2-month window, So I mean, any time anybody's trying to push their narrative, they're always going to use the info that makes their point more solid, I guess you could say.
So there was one sorry, go on. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying there was one comment in there to do with Vivor. Remember the app we were trying to think of on Ethereum? It's called LivePeer. So it uses LivePeer on Ethereum and KAS as payments. So yeah, I'm presuming the whole thing is going to be on KAS. So if I was streaming it, I wouldn't be streaming over KASPA just yet anyway. So
I don't think that they're able to do it yet, because there's the smart contracts aren't live yet. And so I would imagine as soon as Casplex, finally launches, that they'll move, it's an EVM compatible scenario that they're running on right now. So they'll probably just, move it over fully onto KASPA as soon as they're able to. Especially since they're marketing it as being a KASPA project. They're probably not going to stay on Ethereum, I would imagine.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't got a clue. Seemingly it's as easy as copy and paste. Like, if it's on Ethereum, it can be moved to KASPA.
That's what the thought is. I'm not, a coder or program language guy or anything like that. So I don't know exactly how it works behind the scenes. But yeah, it sounds like you can just literally almost, there might be little nuances here and there, but almost just, copy and paste it over. Which may be huge for, KASPA. Once people realize the difference in price, to just launch a project, and then how much more scalable, it can be for such a low cost. The hope is that that's, how we garner a ton of adoption. So,
yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot of things to be excited about. Yeah, there's the stable coins as well. Did you see the
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the posts where the KEF spelled stable coins wrong,
Yeah.
and everybody's
Yeah.
chewing them out for it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, a senior man, Juni, that's in charge of the head of the KEF, and he said that it's one mistake in 15 projects. Like you chill out, like that kind of thing. But yeah, so some mistakes happen. But yeah, it's like, I mean, they're doing the talk, and USDC looks like it could be forced on KASPA. And he said they were talking to USDT before, and I think they were talking to they were talking to Tether, and then I think Paxos as well. I think they were talking to them before. So yeah, I mean, stablecoins are after passing Visa, as far as I know. So that'd be bring a lot of revenue to KASPA.
Yeah, I think excuse me. I think stable coins is going to be huge because what I envision, I don't know if this is actually going to come to fruition, at least not right away, but stable coins is by far the biggest, business, I guess you could say, in the crypto space. There is a ton of money that gets moved around in stable coins, and majority of it's happening right now on the Tron blockchain. Um, the Tron blockchain is super centralized, and Justin Sun has been well known to a lot of people as being pretty shady. And so the fees are also not that cheap. I think I paid somewhere between $3 and $7 for a transaction the other day, which everybody says Tron is cheap. That's why they use it, and maybe it is compared to Ethereum, but it's not cheap compared to what KASPA is going to be like. So I imagine there is going to be a percentage of people who move stable coins on a regular basis that are going to, hear about KASPA, and I'm thinking, why would they continue to use the Tron blockchain if there's any sort of doubt in their mind about Justin Sun, the centralization, the fee structure? Um, I would imagine there's going to be a certain percentage of people that once KASPA launches, once it starts gaining a little bit of steam, like a domino effect where some people start using it and they're like, oh, wow, this is great. This is cheap. It's fully decentralized. Um, that there is going to be some sort of percentage of those stable coins that move over to KASPA immediately. And I think over time that's just going to slowly escalate into more and more usage. And the great thing about that is that all of those transactions are, going to be settled on the base layer, and the fees are going to go to the miners.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so it's a win-win. And then you have Egra Labs, who said, "Don't worry about the fees, the fee structure. The miners are going to be taken care of." Right? I was it the blockchain banter. Um, a number of weeks ago where they were talking to was it Paul Van Son? I think his name is. He was on there, and he was saying that the amount of transactions that they plan on doing on a daily, monthly, yearly basis with their 30 biggest um, uh, energy companies in the world are going to,
Oh, the KII.
yeah, the KII,
Yeah.
basically saying that in his mind that they are going to do so many transactions that pay out the miners and keep the miners happy that we almost don't need to worry about anything else running on the chain, is kind of what it sounded like he was saying. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
reading between the lines there.
Yeah.
But
I remember. I remember that now. Yeah, that was Rory O'Neill, the Irish
yeah,
guy. Yeah.
Rory. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He was on. Yeah. I remember him saying. Yeah. Yeah. Basically, the fees will keep the miners running, keep the network secure.
Yeah.
Um. y- yeah, like I remember before him saying, I think it was in Dublin when he was doing the talk, that at the moment all these energy companies are sending um, money across, or Ethereum, and the fees in Ethereum is costing them millions. So they're sending that much money that the fees are millions. So if they send it in cash, they're going to be sending millions, because it's going to be like dollars or cents.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they want to use cash, because it's decentralized. And I think EVM smart contracts is too sloppy for them. I think they're creating their own smart contracts, and they're creating their own stable coin as well, that gigawatt
Yeah.
gigawatt coin. And that's for energy companies to transfer. I think if somebody in one country or one region has access energy, they can send it, in stable coin and pay for it that way. And then I remember him also saying in Mongolia, he said this in the meeting as well, just has the highest rate of horizontal ionizing radiation. So for solar panels, it's the best place in the world. And Mongolia, this area is in the middle of nowhere, so it's too expensive to get power lines out there and cables, but it's relatively cheap to get a fiber connection out there. And they're going to set up a mining place there with running off solar panels. So it's going to be carbon negative, and they're going to reinforce the network themselves, and they want to use it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm very excited. A lot of people get annoyed about KII because they say when is this happening? But they're not like a little business. They're a massive group
Yeah.
of energy companies, and it takes time. He thinks in terms of years. He said he actually lives 15 minutes away from me, and he invited me to lunch, and which I was gone on holiday, so I have to get back to him and go out and see. He just wants to have a chat how it's best to promote KASPA. So a little bit above my pay grade, I think, but it'd be very interesting to hear what he says, because yeah, they're doing a lot of good stuff on KASPA. But yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, I think the miners, I think a lot of people are going to come back to KASPA. I have 3 little miners here, and like even when KRs, like I make about 7 CAS a day, but when KRC20s were minting, and I think it was KDEL, and the transactions went up to 16 million that day, I think I made $25 in a day.
Yeah.
Like that's ridiculous. Like for 3 little home miners that cost me hardly anything to use. Yeah,
Yeah. And
and
just think about the importance of that. 16 million transactions in one day, just from the launch. Wasn't that from the launch of one KRC20 token?
yeah, that was the community DAO. I don't think it went well after that, but yeah, it just proved that, and that was at 1 block a second. That was before Crescendo, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was if people remember, it got so when a token launched, the fees went up a good bit on KASPA, but because it got so busy, because 16 million in a day, and that was at I think 300 transactions a day, or sorry, 300 transactions a second, but now we're at 3,000.
Yeah.
So the next time it gets busy, that's the reason they moved to 10 blocks a second, because they're going to handle a lot more traffic now without the fees shooting up.
Yeah.
So, and
But
yeah,
that
so
just, to me, the fact that it actually, it was able to handle that, but also there was enough interest, right, from enough people to account for that many transactions in a day. It makes me very um, excited about the launch of smart contracts, because you're going to have, potentially hundreds of projects out there, right? And there's going to be projects for everybody's liking, whether it be lending, like you said, whether it be just playing around in meme coin, circles,
streaming,
streaming, messaging,
yeah,
no matter
gaming.
what you want to do, even if you're just, buying and trading, whatever it is, there's going to, it's not going to be just, oh, there's one meme coin launch today. And it it gets me excited to know that for one meme coin launch, we can get 16 million transactions in one day, and it was able to handle it, and there was enough interest. So what happens when you've got, a ton of different areas and different things going on all at once? What's actually going to happen on a regular basis? It's intriguing,
Yeah,
to say
yeah,
the
that's
least.
it. Yeah, and also, like I said, the text messaging on the base layer. I read something on X, Jack Dorsey. The way he came out with this new app that connects people, send messages over Bluetooth, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I think they shut some network down, and I just glanced at it. I don't know where it was, some protest going on, and they shut it down, shut the networks down. So people start messaging each other on this. And he had something like 60,000 downloads of the app at that time, so they could use it and talk to each other. But these people don't even know about, like, Cassia is something there, it can't be shut down. It's censorship resistant, and you can text each other on the base layer, and the miners get fees, and you can send pictures now as well.
Can you?
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you can. Yeah, now it's in test, and when you click on it, the picture's not very big, but they're all fixing it. But the reason they can do, like, I mean, Bitcoin is, you'd be waiting 10 minutes on a text because they're like transactions, they're in the block, because KASPA is so fast, and it's every block is a block every 100 milliseconds, like that.
Mm-hmm.
You get your text messages straight away, So that's how they can do
Yeah.
things on the base layer. It's so fast, like, it's really interesting. It's just every day is a learning day. Never get bored.
Yeah, and then even like, there's all the stuff that us as consumers get to play around with, but on the back end, like we were just talking about KII, right? They're doing probably a hell of a lot of transactions on a daily basis behind the scenes, right? That nobody's ever going to
Mm,
see, but all of that is going to be supporting the network, the security, paying the miners. Um,
mm.
so it's just going to be extremely vast, as far as what's able to be done that we can see, and then what's going on behind the scenes that we can't even see, that's just
Yeah.
operating on a daily basis. So
Yeah, sure. The Dex, Zella swap, sure, they got millions of swaps were done on the Dex, I think, testing.
yeah.
So that's that. Another thing about KII as well, they've got the way you send money between banks, it's a Swift network they use.
Hmm.
So they've applied, you've seen that, the ISO 022, I think it's
Yep.
called. So KASPA, instead of Swift, they'll be able to use KASPA. So, and they're applying for all this, they're getting all this passed. So they're doing a lot of work.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
it's just
doing
going to
all
take a bit
the
of time to see it.
work behind the scenes to get it, in good regulatory terms,
Mm,
to be able to use it. But yeah, even their dealings with other energy companies, they do a lot of transaction, but all those energy companies also transact with banks,
yeah.
and they're going to have the setup. The I remember he even said that all of these people aren't even going to know that they're using Caspa. They have it all set up to where they're just going to be doing transactions like normal. It's going to be settled on the Caspa chain, and they're not going to know any different. It's just going to be like a Web 2
Mm,
interface, basically, that's transacting on the base layer of Caspa, and none of these companies, you know, some of them probably will
mm,
know just because, but like,
mm.
banks, it doesn't matter. They're going to be operating as normal, and it's going to be using Caspa's base chain for all of these transactions, all of these amounts. And I imagine they're doing, uh, actually, I don't know how many transactions they're doing a day, but it's probably a lot. And the amount of
Yeah, I think
money
he
is
did
probably a
say.
lot.
Oh yeah,
So
I can't remember, but he did say they're doing a lot of transaction testing, and yeah, no, it's exciting. We just probably won't see the results of it for a while. I mean, it's not. I don't know what we're going to get out of it. Like, we might eventually might be able to send, if we have to send money from a bank. We'd be able to send it through Caspa as well. But yeah, it's more for businesses,
yeah,
than what we're going to see. But
yeah.
I mean, it's going to bring the revenue in for the miners, and that's
But yeah,
good.
that's exactly the point though, is like it's behind
Mm,
the scenes. We can do everything fun on, you know, face value that we see, lending and all of that kind of stuff. Um, but the whole other world behind the scenes is going to be, giving the miners, or keeping the miners happy, and doing a ton of transactions that we're not even privy to. It's just going to be back there in the background, which I think is kind of
yeah,
cool, because you're not just relying on retail at that point, right? You're
yeah.
you're
No,
getting
that's it. Yeah,
help from institutional energy companies and banks at that point. So I think it's cool. I think it's awesome, personally.
yeah. Me too.
Um, I saw two today. It was on X. Um, there's a new scanner. It's called DAG scan, which is going to be I guess, an interface where you can go in and check all of the transactions that are being done. Like Etherscan for Ethereum. I don't know if there's anything out there right now necessarily for KASPA, but I think they're partnering up with Eager Labs as far as just one place you can go to look at all transactions and
Yeah,
checking wallets and all that
yeah,
kind of stuff. So
transaction. The block explorer for the L2. Yeah, I thought it was going to do both of them, but maybe it's just going to work on one. Yeah, I think that was Casper the Ghost. I think it was their team
okay,
that made that. I might be wrong. They're the same people that did the Vimeo
okay,
as well. So yeah, they're busy.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, that'll come in handy. We need something like that.
What do you think about? I guess how to say it. I know there's a lot of people out there that think KASPA doesn't need smart contracts, and it should operate as a pure peer-to-peer um, payments system. Um, I'm just curious your thoughts on, I guess, the benefits of the true smart contract layer 2s coming out, um, and if you think that they actually need that or not. I know you support them, obviously, because it's going to open up a lot of other avenues, but as far as like purity, you know being like Bitcoin, I guess you could say, do you think smart contracts are necessary for the future of success of KASPA?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. Yeah, I think the Caspa being the silver and Bitcoin is gold is probably a little bit old. Like it would be a waste of Caspa's technology just to use it for transactions on the base layer, and that was it. I was in the KII in Dublin before, and this just sticks in my head like that. We were all there listening to the speeches, and then later on in the evening there was a bar downstairs, and I was down there. I got to go down and sitting beside Shoy, which I didn't get to talk to there, but there was Shoy and there was Rory and there was Chris Hutchinson and there was, I think, the French ambassador for CASPA. There's a few people there anyway, and Rory and Shoy were talking. That they're not too worried about. They don't care about tier one transactions. Just Shoy was saying that CASPA is like the black hole. When they have smart contracts, like it's just going to suck in everything off other networks because CASPA will be able to do everything better and cheaper. So why would people still use the other ones? And then the more you research CASPA, like I said, the community is very educational, and I know they're going at Bitcoin a little bit now and they're in all the comments, but they're not really. Some of them aren't like Caspa Silver doing debates. They're very polite about it, but some people are just a bit rude. But I do think that even the hardened Bitcoin maxis are coming over to Caspa because they understand that if you look into it a little bit and you understand a little bit, even if you're not too technical, you're going to see the benefits. But yeah, I think definitely it would be wasted if it was just a peer-to-peer. Plus, there probably wouldn't be enough revenue for the miners. Our security budget is going to hit problems now, like as compared to Bitcoin in the future. But they have their head buried in the sand, whereas Casper are tackling it now, and smart contracts come out. Everything you do on the smart contracts, all the transactions will be processed on the base layer. What I understand of it, so the miners are still going to get paid, and that's why they did it that way. Because if the miners go, like that, it was a Monero was hacked by Cubic, but people are worried about that. But seemingly Monero, they're just CPE or CPU miners, like mineable. You all you need is a computer. So if you have a lot of computers hanging around, you can do that. But Caspa is using ASICs now, and there's a lot of hash power, and they need a lot of money to do that. So it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the short answer is yeah, they definitely need smart contracts because it just keep it strong and take everything away from the other networks maybe.
Yeah, I agree 100% on that. Like I think that there's a possibility that Caspa could, be successful and sustainable with just peer-to-peer transactions, but like you said, the fact that the security budget is coming up very quickly on Caspa, there might not be enough time for that to be enough, right? Before we have a breaking point. Whereas smart contracts, and like you said, it's going to take away, um, usage from other chains. And right now, I think that a blockchain, or in Caspa's case, a block DAG, that doesn't have smart contracts isn't as respected for whatever reason. It just because that's become the norm, right? And I
Yeah,
agree that it would be wasting its potential, because you can do so many things, right? And you can still use it as peer-to-peer money, but you can also use it as other things if you want to. It's not limited to just one or two different things. You're going to be able to do, pretty much anything you want when it's all said and done using that network if you so choose. And that's the hope,
even
is
this.
that you're bringing in um, different people with different um, interests, right?
Definitely, yeah. I think even the base layer would be able to do smart contracts, but I heard it in some podcast or something that Tether and them, they kind of prefer the bridged ones where they can bridge between other networks. So I don't think they're going to do that, even though they could. But yeah, no, it's looking forward to the future. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus the layer twos kind of like take. We know Caspa can handle it if it wanted to, but it kind of takes the stress off of the base layer as well, right? So you don't have to worry about, um, I guess, scaling, you know,
Mm.
before you want to make the next upgrade. If for some reason you gained a ton of uh, adoption in a short period of time, I heard that it's basically just because it functions the same way. Transactions are still going to get settled on the base layer, but
Mm.
everything else going on, before the final transactions are made, are happening on a layer two, and so it takes a lot of stress off of the base layer, and just kind of
Yeah.
frees it up to make sure all the transactions get settled timely and there is no issues, basically. So,
Mm.
or potential
Yeah.
issues.
No, that's it. I heard that as well. Like neither of us are too well up in the technical bits, but yeah, the base roll-ups, yeah, it's all conducted on the layer two, so it doesn't slow down the base layer. Then the
Yeah.
transactions are processed down there, and then ZK rollups are going to come out, and that's where even less information is sent down to the base layer, and it still get processed.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. It's like I heard somebody describe it as ZK rollups are like you have a safe and you have a lock on the safe that you're just sending the lock down, and it's basically just trusting what's in the box kind of thing. It's something like that. But yeah, it's very complicated, but it's interesting.
Yeah. Why don't we, since we're moving up towards the hour phase, get some questions in,
Mm,
and that way I can let you go,
mm.
um,
I
where
saw
before
one
it gets
there.
too late.
One, oh yeah, no problem. I saw one there about MEV. I know what this one is. Um, it was Ilal had a good analogy for this, that you have a bus stop, and so the bus stop is the mempool, and you have the people waiting at the bus stop, their transactions, and then you have the buses coming along, and your transactions get on the bus, and the buses are the blocks. So the whole thing about MEV is, with Bitcoin, the bus is parked at the bus stop for 10 minutes. So you can manipulate them transactions, and front running and pancake, whatever you call it, all that stuff, and manipulate the transactions. So it's there for 10 minutes. And then Ethereum is there for 12 seconds, I think. So same thing, you can adjust it. But if you can imagine, Caspa's block is sitting at the bus stop for 100 milliseconds. So it's not very much time, which I think that's what makes it really, brings it up there, is MEV resistance, without even doing anything more. that it's so fast that there's not enough time to manipulate transactions, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what I understand about MEV. We kind of make something complicated, makes it understandable.
Yeah, there's just not enough time for anybody to try and plant some I don't know exactly what they do, but for lack of, better term, a virus inside of that
Yeah,
block
like,
because they're,
I think they,
like you said, it's
yeah,
milliseconds.
yeah, I think they put their transaction in front of yours that higher the price, and then that makes your price go up. You know, it's
Yeah.
something like that. Just front running, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen this, but last cycle I played around with this and I thought it was really cool. Exactly the analogy that you just said. Ethereum, there was a website that you could go to where it would literally in real time have little tiny people waiting at a bus stop. And the bus would pull up and you would see transactions live acting as little like figures jump onto the bus and take
Oh,
off
yeah,
within the 12-second span or whatever, like you said. And I thought it was really
brilliant.
cool because you could see like people rolling up, to the bus stop
Mm.
and then certain, I guess transactions jump onto the bus. And it was like a visual of people getting on a
Yeah,
bus, just like you said. I thought it was really cool. I used to watch it here and there just because it was interesting last cycle.
yeah, and I did think about that. It would be good to be able to do a visual of that. You know, a little X post where you can
Yeah,
have the 3 different blockchains and the speeds and how it works. But I don't
yeah.
know how to do that. So if anybody's watching is any good at that stuff, I say that would be a good post
That
to
would
help
be
people
awesome.
understand the
Even,
MEV. Yeah,
even if there's somebody out there that could, make a potential website where you can go in live and look at the transactions in a visual like that would be cool.
mm,
Obviously, I don't think you can do that with Ethereum anymore because it's not proof of work. I would imagine that whatever site that I was looking at, I can't even remember what it was at this point,
yeah,
doesn't exist anymore. But uh, I still remember it. It was actually pretty fun to watch because it was like a real live people getting on a bus and then taking off on the bus as your
yeah,
transactions go through live. I thought it
yeah,
was
yeah.
cool.
I don't know how successful it would be with people getting on a block every 100 milliseconds.
Yeah,
You
it might
probably
be
wouldn't
too
see it.
fast to even like comprehend what's
Yeah.
going on. Maybe that's why it worked better for something that was a little slower, so you can actually see what's going on.
Just before
Um,
you go there, somebody has some technical knowledge there. ZK rollups provide proof that a package of transactions is valid. There you go.
yeah, yeah. I can't put the comments on screen because I'm on a different scenario here and I don't know how.
Okay.
Somebody says I read somewhere. Franny says I read somewhere that Casplex L2 will launch sometime in September with no actual date. Have you heard this also? Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
It's definitely supposed to be September, yeah.
yeah, Caspador himself has said September, and I'm pretty sure he's not listing an exact date again, just in case, so that there's
It-
not two delays. Now he's got a
yeah,
window, where they can launch, and everybody will be sufficed.
yeah. He was on blockchain banter the last day. He's a nice guy, a good guy. But he was just saying that was kind of his fault because he kind of pushed the team for a date. You know, can we give a date? Can we give a date? So, and then it got rolled back. So, yeah,
Yeah,
don't know.
I've been telling people I was like, you know what? Once they finally launch and everything's live and it goes smoothly, nobody's going to remember that it was delayed a few weeks. It really doesn't matter when it's all said and done. Another question, any speculative date on smart contract release? Um, Wolfie, is this Wolfie himself?
That's Wolfie that was on with us before, yeah.
Oh, I can show the comments.
There you go.
I don't know if he's still here, but welcome in, Wolfie. Cat popcorn in the microwave.
Yeah, he's a cat lover as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he has one,
Yeah.
if I understand correctly. Um uh KASPA is Freedom Money 2.0. Cairo on KAS. Have you heard of Cairo?
I think I heard of it, but yeah, there's so many. I haven't had time to look through them.
Yeah, that's the problem. In order to like keep up on all the KRC20 tokens, you have to make that like your full-time job.
Yeah.
And I don't have time for that, and I know you don't. Let me see here if we've got any more. Franny says he owns Nacho, but worried about Shy. This could affect long-term growth. I don't think it's going to affect long-term growth. People are just
I
going
don't
to
think it
forget
matter.
it's even his cat, and the team is so good and active that they're going to keep propelling the
He
project.
still likes KASPA. Like, he still likes KASPA, so, and Nacho's on KASPA, so.
Yeah. Paul says, for me, Nacho and Wolfie, staking Nacho NFTs could be a winner. Getting Zeal as a return. Also got Zeal and Igra. Yeah, you're set up. You're set up.
Also,
You're set up fully.
sorry, I forgot to shield something for Wolfie. That if you get in there and you mint 2 NFTs this month, you get put into a draw to win. I think the top prize is 20, getting 20 NFTs, and they're 1,500 each. So, yeah, I'm going to get a couple. I haven't bought any in a little while, so.
Yeah, so make sure you guys go in and get your Wolfie NFTs. What do you guys think about Kiki on KRC20? Seems nobody's talking about it. However,
Okay, is it?
It has a few centralized exchange listings. Thanks for your opinion. I personally didn't buy into it because it's just a play off of Pepe with a K. I think it had a little bit of a run early on, but I don't really like the copy and paste or play off of other names scenario. I like the original, somebody who comes up with an original name. That's just my opinion, anyways. So I'm not invested in it. I don't know if you are.
No, I'm not. No.
That doesn't mean it's not going to do well. By the way,
Mm.
we're not trashing it by any means.
No.
Just not something that we're investing in.
There's another one. You know the guy Triage who he accepts cash in a shop in Portugal. He does donuts in his car and he has motorbikes and he has
Okay.
Porsches. And you ever see him?
No.
On X? No. Yeah, he launched a meme coin called Byte, BITE. It's a robot. So we're just giving him a shout out because
Interesting.
he's a good guy and he accepts cash in his business. He
Yeah,
said,
it's always
if
good to support those guys.
Yeah, he said if I do well, I want a Porsche Taycan. You see, and he said let him know because he'll source the one that I want, and I can fly over to Portugal and drive it back. That's if it happened. If wishful thinking.
Hyon says there will be no competition about stablecoin with KASPA except L2 launch for the moment. L2.
Does he mean there'll be no competition without stablecoins? Is it? Or there'll be no competition.
Or maybe there will be no competition once stablecoins are launched on KASPA. I'm assuming he means.
Yeah.
And I agree. I don't know if it's going to happen immediately though. I think over time we're going to see more and more people, come over once they figure out.
It'll be great. You know the way when you're sending your USDT or USDC from wallet to wallet and you have to pick what network you want. And you see Tron, $1, Polygon, $2, and you'll see CAS down the bottom, 1 cent.
Yep.
Which one are you going to pick?
Yep. So. Yeah. As soon as we, see that option, when we're making a trade with stablecoins is going to be a good day.
Yeah.
Once we even see the option.
There was another comment there I saw. Cryptopumpz, he comes over to my channel and I think he's in Wolfie as well. He says he's going to buy me a few beers in Berlin But
Oh,
if you,
nice.
I think you can only get beers in the after party, and that's a free bar. So he's gonna get me a free drinks.
It's a free bar?
I think it's $50 for the nacho after party, and as far as I know, there's free drink.
Oh, okay.
There
Oh,
might
okay.
there
I
might be a limit. There might be like 2 drinks per person or something.
I
But
thought you meant Wolfie's bar in general is just free. And I was
no,
like, how do they make any money?
no, I didn't
They
say
just
that.
give away free
Delete
beer?
that. Delete that. No, no, in Berlin, the nacho after party.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, sorry, I should have said that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you buy in and then you get
Oh.
it's an open bar.
yeah, but it's on the roof, so you wouldn't want to get too hammered.
No. You don't want to fall off. Octoplus, great post on X sending KASPA all around the world. That was fun,
That was
actually.
us. Yeah. He's a taxi driver in Dublin. He accepts KASPA. That guy.
Octoplus?
Yeah, I have to get him on sometime. And he says there's a few businesses in Dublin that want to take KASPA, but it's hard to advertise it. So yeah, I'm trying to find out how you can get some KASPA accepted here stickers.
Sugar Lump says, "Hey, KASPA gang."
Didn't Sugar Lump used to be in Crypto Galaxies group as well? There used to be a picture of a nose for the profile picture.
Maybe.
I think. I don't know if it's the same one.
I'm sure there's plenty of people in here that also watch Crypto Galaxy. So, but she does have a question. So, with all the delay and manipulation, do you believe KASPA will still prevail while inferior projects are being pushed to the top?
Yeah, I think there's manipulation happening. Definitely, market makers or whoever are keeping it back. I don't get it. Why? It's going the way it is. So
yeah,
I think somebody's holding it back.
That's definitely a possibility. I also think that it had such a big run in late 2022 to, I guess early 2024, to where it might just need time to consolidate as well. You know what I mean? I know it's been consolidating for a little over a year now, which is extremely annoying and boring to a lot of people, including myself. But in crypto, every project goes through these phases, right? You're going to have phases where it goes real well, and then it's got to consolidate for a little while and kind of build a base before it can go up to its next level. So I do think smart contracts are going to help, and I do think we still are going to get at least Binance a listing this cycle. That's just my opinion. And that's going to help propel price as well.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, they have the Binance mining pool. They had an AMA with Binance. They have Binance futures, and they're in a Telegram group with Wolfie that was just on. Constantly keeping up to date with all the technical updates. So why would they be doing that if eventually they're not going to list? I mean, I think once they're going to list it, I think you said this before. When it's the best time for them to list it, if altcoin season happen and everything starts to go up, that's the best time to list it.
Yeah, you've got to think about it from their perspective. They're a business, right? And they have to actually purchase. They're not given free KASPA on like a lot of projects, just hand over a certain percentage of their supply to these exchanges to get listed. So they can list them right away because no matter the price goes up or down, they got them for free. They're still making money. In KASPA's scenario, they have to buy it at a certain price. And then when they list it, do you really think that they want to, let's say Binance bought it at, their average buy is 7 cents. I'm just throwing out a number. What if, do they want to list it and they probably know more about, which way the markets are going and when things are going to turn around for good, right? To the upside. Do you think that they want to risk buying KASPA at 7 cents, having KASPA dip back down to 5 cents for a couple weeks? People are buying KASPA at 5 cents on Binance, and they're losing money as that's happening, right? So it would make the most sense for them to wait until the market is in its last parabolic phase, altcoin season's happening, where no matter what price people are buying it at, it's just going up and up and up, and they're making money. That makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, and there was like millions of KASPA bought last week. You see the exchanges, like some of it was consolidating wallets like Bybit,
Yeah.
but a lot, like millions of KASPA like were bought, and the chart
Yeah.
didn't even budge, so they're obviously buying it over the counter, or buying it, off KASPA whales, or buying it straight off miners,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because the price isn't even budging.
Yeah,
So,
and I get
yeah.
that question a lot. Why, you guys show these big wallets buying, triple digit millions in KASPA, and the price doesn't move. It actually goes down. And the reason is because, just like anything else, why do you think in the bear market a lot of people are buying Bitcoin at rock bottom prices, like big wallets, and the price doesn't move until the market makers want the price to move? They're all buying it OTC, over the counter, straight from miners, or like you said, from other bigger whales. And what that's doing, if you're not buying it off an exchange, it's not going to affect the exchange price. But what it's doing is it's creating a supply crunch at some point, which is again why at a certain point Bitcoin runs, right? Because they're, the supply and demand scenario. The same thing's happening with KASPA right now. A lot of people are buying it in large amounts, but they're buying it outside of an exchange, which means it's not going to affect the exchange price yet. So,
sorry, Andy is there with a question again. Sorry, cryptopumpz, are you going to try the sausage in Berlin? So I don't know if that's innuendo or what, but no, I'm bringing a packed lunch with me. My wife was coming, so no. Sorry, he's just a messer.
No, it's fine.
He puts comments on all the KII posts just to wind them up. Yeah.
That's funny. Just Chillin' says, will you be able to collect fees on KASPA in the future just for holding KASPA?
Staking, yeah, I think so.
They'll probably have some scenarios where you can, I guess it would be lending your KASPA for liquidity, and then you can actually receive some back for adding liquidity to liquidity pools. But as far as like traditional staking, you're not going to be able to. You're going to have to mine it in order to actually get paid out in KASPA. But there will be, on some of these platforms, they'll have some scenarios where you're going to be able to earn if you want to.
Yeah, ZellaSwap. Yeah, you can even your KRC20 tokens. I think you can put them in the liquidity pools, yeah, and farm them, and then like we did it all in the test net, and you earn KASPA off that, as far as I know. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there will be a way to stake your KASPA, even though it's proof of work on some kind of thing. But I'd be worried where you're holding it. It'd be some centralized thing, that something could happen. That's why we all keep our KASPA on Tangent, or
Yeah, you've got to be careful on those, because I don't know if any of you guys that were around last cycle, was it BlockFi and Celsius? They were centralized staking platforms, and they accepted multiple different cryptocurrencies, and you can give them your crypto of your choice that they accepted, and they would pay you interest for holding it. But what they were doing behind the scenes is basically gambling on low cap altcoins with your Ethereum or with your Bitcoin or whatever you were having held on there. And for anybody that was around and was doing that knows, both of those companies have gone bankrupt. And basically everybody lost all of their crypto. They just said, sorry, we don't have it anymore. And they've done some small paybacks to people. I've gotten some back from Celsius because I lost all of the money that I had on there. So I would be very, very, very cautious on centralized staking platforms. I
Sounds as bad as
guarantee you
banks.
there's going to be more that pop up. And it's going to sound intriguing because they're going to give you like 6% back, right? So if you're staking, $1,000, you'll get 6% back on that, every month. And it sounds very good and intriguing. Stay the hell away from them, in my opinion. Because what's going to happen as soon as the bear market starts, they're going to not have any liquidity left, and the company's probably going to go bankrupt, just like it did last cycle. So I don't know what they'll be called this cycle, but some of them will pop up. I guarantee it.
Somebody has up there liquidity mining. That's to do with what we were talking about. Do you ever hear of that? Liquidity mining?
No. Where's the comment?
Dustin Hidden.
Down at the very bottom.
It's up the top.
Well, liquidity mining could technically be, like for instance, on Solana. I used to play around on Solana a lot, and I used to add liquidity to liquidity pools. So it's not really a mining pool; it's a liquidity pool inside some of these DEX platforms, just like you were just talking about that you did on Zealous Swap, and you get paid back on a weekly or monthly basis with whether it be the main token or one of the ecosystem tokens, and maybe that's what he's talking about. Because I don't know that there's any other way, to get some sort of return percentage back. So I hope that's what you were talking about. If there is something different, then let me know. But why don't we kind of wind down here? I know you got to get going. And before we leave, though, tell everybody what you're going to be doing in the next few days and where they can find you and where they can watch what you're going to be putting out on YouTube.
Okay, thanks. I'm going to be at the KASPA experience in Berlin. It's on Saturday the 13th, so 2 days for me. And it starts, the first talk is Ashton, and he's at 9:30 a.m. So I'm trying to get there at 8:30 and get set up. So I plan on recording all the speeches anyway, and then we'll see how that goes, and maybe I can get some video from the after party and stuff like that. But the live speeches I'm going to stream on X and my YouTube. So get in there and subscribe and hit the notification bell, and you'll be able to see it. I put it on X as well because I prefer people watching on YouTube, but on X seems to a lot of people just like to watch stuff on X, so I don't want to be holding it back. So I have it on X and YouTube just to make sure everybody can see it. So I got this little microphone today off Amazon for the occasion, and I got a tripod and stuff like that. So I'm going to bring them over and do my best to do a good job of streaming it first time. So see how it goes. But yeah, no, looking forward to it. I asked Ashton for a couple of pictures of the venue, so it looks very nice. They have Wi-Fi there and everything, so which I need, so it should be good. And then the after party is in the bar upstairs, the rooftop bar, I think it's called. I think that starts at 6. So yeah, KASPA Queen is over there. She got made MC, which I had to look it up. I didn't know what that meant, EMCE, but it's Her Majesty of. Anyway, she's looking after the speakers, organizing helping organize the event. So she's over there now.
Yeah, I saw her on X, posting about her heading that direction. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's only a 2-hour flight for me. I think she went from California, so it's a different story.
Yeah, that's a very long flight.
Yeah.
All right, well. You guys, make sure you get over there if you're not subscribed to CryptoPumpz' YouTube channel. Make sure you go over and subscribe, and you'll be able to. Well, first of all, he has a lot of KASPA content that that he makes on a fairly regular basis, as well as you're going to be able to get live streams directly from the event in Berlin that's coming up this weekend, which I will be watching because I think that's going to be pretty cool. And that way we can get kind of an inside look on what is going on there. So
Yeah, but if you're not up at that time, like it's live streaming, but it'll still be recorded. You'll be able to watch it after if it's your bedtime, you know.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, yeah,
we should do this again in the future as well. This was good. I enjoyed this.
yeah, yeah. We definitely should, and maybe next time we will be able to actually stream on
Oh.
Vivu or whatever it's called.
I think it's
Vivu.
Vimeo, is it?
Vivio. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't have the name in
Yeah.
front of me. I know it's something like that. So,
Yeah, begins with a V.
yeah, and then we can kind of test that out. Although it'd be more fun, I think, to do that scenario once it's already fully moved to KASPA. But maybe we try it out ahead of time just to, get used to it. I don't know.
Yeah, test.
And see if we can link it to YouTube as well as X and stuff. I don't know how all that works yet. So, but yeah, it was fun. I appreciate you coming on. And I appreciate everybody in the audience for coming in and hanging out. And make sure you get over there and subscribe to cryptopumpz.kas channel. And on that note, we'll let everybody go. We'll see you guys later.
Talk to you soon. See ya.
Yeah. Have a good trip. Safe trip too.
Thanks.
All right, man.
See you later.
Take care.